Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Cooking for the Family. I'm Dyvonne and today I'm going to share with y'all how I make my Italian vegetable soup. This is a soup that I love to make, especially during the winter time. It comes out so good. It is easy to put it all together. It is hearty. And if you're not making it for a family of 5 or 6 people, you can definitely just make it for 2. So what I like to do is I like to prepare my veggies. Now the veggies that I'm using are going to be our baby carrots. Now I'm using baby carrots. That's what I had on hand today, but you can also just use the regular carrots as well. And so you just want to have about 3/4 to about a cup of chopped up carrots. And you want to chop your vegetables into nice bite-sized pieces. Now I'm also going to be using the yellow squash, and I've also got some zucchini as well. Now these are the vegetables that I like to use. If you want to add some different vegetables to it or leave something out that you don't prefer, you can definitely do that. And to make it for 2 people, I would reduce the vegetables that you're putting in your soup by about half. And this soup also freezes very well. Another way to change up the soup is to add some boneless, skinless chicken breast, or either you can also add some ground beef or either some ground turkey. And of course that takes it from a vegetable soup onto like a chicken and vegetable soup or meat and vegetable soup. But it's just like a nice alternative that you can use the same recipe and add other things to it just to kind of get something a little different that night for dinner. Now, if you are new to my channel, welcome in. And if you're a returner, welcome back. My name is Dyvonne, and on my channel, I like to share what I cook and bake for my family in my kitchen. I enjoy cooking and baking a variety of things, from down-home cooking to authentic Mexican food. So I invite you to hit that subscribe button and become one of my awesome subscribers. Now the potatoes that I'm using are the Yukon Gold Potatoes. Now you can use Yukon Gold Potatoes, you can use new potatoes, or you can also use what's called white potatoes. And sometimes the new potatoes and the white potatoes are kind of pretty much the same thing. So you can use either of those. And some of the potatoes I'll peel and some of them I won't. I mostly try to peel off some of the darker spots is what I usually like to peel off of the potato skin. Next we're going to go on and chop up our kale. Now our kale, I've actually already cleaned our kale, rinsed it off really well with some nice cold water. And with the kale, you want to be sure, and I just take that stem out and we just throw that away. We don't need that part. But with your kale, you want to be sure that you pay close attention to the little curls on the end of the leaf, because you want to make sure you remove any grit or anything that decides to hang out up in those curls. You want to make sure that you do a nice, clean, thorough cleaning, dunking, and rinsing of our kale. Now next, I also chopped up some onion. I'm using a yellow onion. You can also use a white onion as well. And we're only going to need about a cup of chopped onion. Now we have all our veggies ready. Let's go on and put our soup together. So to get the full flavor from our vegetables, this is what I like to do when I'm making my soups and making my stews. First, we're going to start off with the onion, and I put in some vegetable oil. That was about a tablespoon of vegetable oil I put, and we're going to saute our onion until they become nice and soft, and they're going to become nice and translucent. And so that's what you want. You want to have your onions to be nice and soft, but you want to be mindful that you don't want to burn your onions on the end, and you don't want to caramelize your onions, because then your soup will take on a different flavor profile. So you want to make sure that you just have your heat on like a medium heat until they're nice and soft. Then I add the rest of my vegetables. With the exception of the potatoes, I added the other vegetables, and I'm adding a couple more tablespoons of olive oil. Then I'm going to saute my vegetables till they become soft. They're still going to have a little bit of firmness to them, but there's going to be maybe about 50% softer than when they first started. And I love to do this because it really brings out the flavor of the vegetables, I feel. But in addition to that, when I'm cooking the vegetables, it seems like the color just stays so much more vibrant, and the flavors of the vegetables together is just so good. So once we have our vegetables, they'll also reduce down some as well. And so once they kind of reduce down a little bit, I add some salt, and I'm adding some kosher salt, and I'm adding about 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt. You're also going to be able to add some more seasoning to your soup, like towards the end, and just kind of adjust it for your seasoning. But in the beginning, I just add about 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt. Now we're going to go on and put in some of our beans. The beans that I'm using are the cannellini beans. The cannellini beans add a nice richness to the soup, but what I like to do is I reserve a third of a cup, and I'm going to share with you what we're going to do with that third of a cup of cannellini beans that I reserved. Now I emptied the entire can. You want to drain the can. I emptied the entire can except for that third of a cup that I reserved, and then any thing that was left in the bottom of the can, a little essence, I just put a couple tablespoons of water, and then I switched that around and added that to the pot. I added in our potatoes, and next we're going to add in a can of stewed tomatoes. And the stewed tomatoes, I was looking for the diced ones, but since they didn't have the diced ones, I just took my knife, you can use a knife or fork, and just put that in the can, and I just kind of like break them up a bit. And so we added the entire can of the diced tomatoes. Now I'm going to add 1 quart of chicken stock, and you can use either chicken stock or chicken broth. And if you want to make this vegan friendly, you can use vegetable broth if you like. I'm going to go on and stir everything together. We're going to put the top on our pot. We're going to bring our soup up to a nice rolling boil, and then I'm going to show you what we're going to do with that third of a cup of cannellini beans that we have reserved. So our soup is at a nice rolling boil. It is smelling good. Everything is looking good. And so those beans, what I did was I just took my fork and I mashed them up really well, made a little bit of a paste to them. Then I added the mashed beans into our rolling boil pot of our soup. You want to mix that around because this is going to give a nice richness to the soup. Really easy way to give a nice richness to the soup. It also helps to thicken the broth just slightly, just enough. And so we're going to have that nice richness to it, that little bit of just a little thickness that it brings to the broth. So the broth is not as thin. And so it just comes out really well. We're going to let this simmer for about 5 more minutes. Now I'm going to go ahead and taste it for seasoning. Our veggies are looking really good. Everything is smelling so good. But let's go on and taste it, see if we need to add any additional seasoning to our soup. I'm going to go on and blow this off. It's nice and hot. It's tasting really good, y'all. I'm going to add just a little bit more of that kosher salt, about another little bit more than a half of a teaspoon. Now in the description box below, under the title of the video, it'll say more or show more. If you click on that, I will have a list of ingredients will be in the description box below for your reference. Now I'm going to go on and add our kale in. And our kale, we're only going to use 2 cups. The rest of the kale that I had chopped up, we're going to be using that. I'm going to use that actually for a different recipe. But while I had all my kale out, I said I'm just going to clean it, chop it all at once. So, but in our soup, we just needed 2 cups of the kale. Or you could put as much as or as little as you like. And so this is our soup, our wonderful Italian vegetable soup. It has come out so nice, y'all. Well, I'm going to serve us up some. I've got some nice baguette in the oven that we are going to also have with this. I'm going to add a little bit of pepper. I almost forgot my pepper, so I'm adding some black pepper to our soup as well. Going to serve us up some, and we're going to give it a taste and see how we did. Okay, this first bite right here, this bite's for you. Okay, I'm going to take my bite and see how we did today. You guys, this has come out so good. It's nice and hearty, the beautiful fresh vegetables that we use. Now my daughter loves to put actually the grated Parmesan cheese. She likes to put grated Parmesan cheese on hers. I'm serving it with the baguette. You can also serve it with garlic bread if you like. Well, that is it for me today, y'all. I hope you enjoyed spending time with me today in my kitchen. If you're not subscribed to my channel yet, I invite you to hit that subscribe button. It's free. If you like this video, don't forget to show it some love. Give it a thumbs up. Click share. Share this video with a friend or family. Click that notification bell so you can come back and visit me again in my kitchen. And remember, it's always good when Dyvonne is cooking for the family. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.